figure out your passion and your purpose. You really have to unpack your lived life to really start that journey. I'm here right now with Jacob Johnson and Nicole Johnson. And today we're going to be talking about crafting your why. I'll start with you, Nicole. I know for you, growing up, a lot of your work towards inner beauty and a lot of the work that you're doing to help others kind of unlock their inner beauty, you had to look back at your own lived life, your own journey, and really unpack some painful pieces of how you've lived, right?
That is very true. I actually found my why on the other side of my trauma. Growing up biracial at a time when it was not truly accepted from a space that you could just, have a place to breathe and belong. And I didn't have that place because it was an ongoing space of needing to fit in and never feeling like I was quite good enough the way that I was. And so for me, over time, that did impact me in a very traumatic way.
For you, Jacob, can you talk a little bit about your journey as a child growing up, some of the things that you found yourself tackling at a young age that sort of shaped how you showed up in the world?
Yeah, I think similar to what Nicole said, I think a lot of us can relate to it. Most of us have had some level of trauma, at some point in our life, and things that really impacted us and how we had to overcome them. So for me, there was some significant things that happened in my household when I was a child that really made our household feel unsafe and traumatized. And so in how I learned to cope, we learn how to cope. And one of the ways I learned to cope was through self-destructive behavior. Overeating, I started gaining a lot of weight as a child, to the point by the time I was a teenager, I weighed about 400 pounds. Drug addiction, acting out, depression, all ways of trying to find coping strategies. And then in adulthood, that fuels the why. Well, I need to get on the other side of some of these things. I need to heal. And, to heal, like, we can talk about getting fit, we can talk about getting healthy, but we have to get healthy on the inside in order to get healthy on the outside as well. So it's a whole journey that I had to go through, like a lot of us.
And was there a moment just in life where you said, I can't keep living like this? Or was there a moment that just sort of unlocked the start of the path that you're on?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was a few moments. And I think one of the most significant ones was I was going to become a father. I was 22 years old. And I had the realization that I was weighing about 400 pounds and I would not, there was a high probability that I would not live a long life to see my daughter have children and get married down the road in that condition. So it was a matter of having a strong desire to be a good father, to be in her life, to have a good relationship and to be a good example. And so that was a big part of my why. I think when if we keep asking why enough, we're going to get to those emotional triggers that really swell up some emotion inside of us. And so that was a big one for me to even dare to believe that I could be healthier than I was.
And that why, the things that you wanted to be around for in your daughter's life, those milestones, was greater than all of the things that you had used to fill those voids over the years, the food, the destructive behaviors that you spoke of, the desire to be there for her was greater than that.
Belief is the precursor to change. So I think before that point, I didn't really believe that I could be anything else. When you're stuck in depression or you're stuck in different situations, stuck in different mindsets, it's really a lack of belief. And so the significance of that emotional feeling and that desire really led me to, let me figure out if this is possible. I'm going to find out how. I'm going to really exhaust every every avenue that I can to really understand how and to make it be a possibility. And so, yeah, it led way to the belief that, oh, I can do this. And then yeah.
And for you, Nicole, if you could talk a little bit about how you found yourself on the journey to helping others unlock their inner beauty, but then you discovered for yourself, you had an additional layer that you needed to unlock too. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I do recall a very distinct point in my journey in which I embarked on an opportunity to work on a program to help empower women. And I remember this overwhelming moment of, wow, there are so many other individuals that do not know their potential, that do not know they have a purpose, that do not see themselves as beautiful and whole and amazing. And there was something in me that was like, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with amazing, wonderful human beings not knowing the value of who they are. And how can I be a solution? Or how can the pain and the process that I went through help others find it for themselves? And my why came alive. It literally, like, something inside of me said, this is what I was born to do. And in an instant, it's like something dropped in me that was clear about my purpose. I couldn't find that up until that point because I needed to, as you mentioned earlier, walk through that for my own self. However, to your point, while I was walking out, being empowered in my own understanding of my value and purpose, and really having wonderful opportunities to move in my giftings, I was held up by one additional piece, which was how I show up day to day in my hair. And you and I have talked about that before, but it was definitely the layer that I needed to release to be in my fullness, if you will. There was a part of me that still was bound by this sense of, I guess, the judgment of, okay, will they see me as effective, or will I get the same opportunities if I show up in my full natural hair myself? Because this was not celebrated when I was growing up. It was a pain point. And so there was a point when I leaned into it, and I remember it was one of the hardest things I had to do. I remember being flooded with anxiety. I remember thinking, like, can I bargain my way out of it? Okay, God, anything but this hair. Like, what can we do? Can we negotiate? And so it was a no, there's no negotiating. If you want to be in the fullness of your why, you're going to have to be willing to release this last piece. And I found freedom on the other side of it. And I would say that it really was catapulted me into a whole new understanding of what I'm about and what I now help others find. For me to be in it truly authentically, this had to happen.
And so much of who we are is on the other side of fear, the fear of sharing the most authentic pieces of who we are with the world. And there's that place where you don't know if that person you really are is going to be accepted. And it feels like you're taking a risk to be that person that you really at your core feel that you are. And it almost feels like you're holding your breath because you don't know. But once you find that courage to take that step, it's like your whole world opens up.
It's almost like our path, our future, our destiny, it's there. And I don't think that the fears and the anxieties and some of the lies that we get told or that we tell ourselves have the ability to change it, but they can keep us from getting on that road. It can kind of detour us. And so I think the most fulfilling experiences that we're going to have in life are going to be on the other side of that, of, being willing to be faithful and take that step in faith and belief and really step out past fear. And some of I think we all can relate. Some of those things are just terrifying. It's like, it almost literally feels like I might die if I do something. It really can be that level of anxiety. But the level of freedom on the other side of that is so amazing and so liberating. And even I look at, my daughter is 20 years old today, and the relationship that we have, it's one of the things that I think I cherish, one of my most cherished experiences in life. And, some of our fears would prevent us from having some of our blessings that is in store for us.
What has your journey to your why taught you about yourself?
It's taught me a lot about what character do I show up with, and what purpose do I show up with to fulfill. I think that we all have calling and we all have purpose, and it really has connected me with that. I've really learned a lot about what my purpose is. There's certain things, and the reward of being able to fully explore that past any fear or anxiety, fully explore what it is to be a father and to be a dad and to have that relationship, to be a husband, to be a servant in the community, to work in fitness. That's a lot about my purpose, helping other people have positive experiences with their body and their health and their wellness. So it's helped me connect with that, to really walk in that fully and not to shy away from it.
One of the most important lessons that I've learned about myself in the journey to my why is that I do not need external validation to know my value. That it's something that is a birthright inherent in who I am and who God created me to be, and that is where I have complete freedom. And I've learned that about myself, and I've learned that I can like walk in that in a way with confidence and reassurance, that whereas before I was just always looking for that, like shopping for that in things outside of me. And so what I learned is like, oh man, everything I need is right in the heart of who God created me to be, and that helps me be whole as and I believe more effective as a wife and now mom and be an example for others who are finding their way with finding purpose, and to develop a new narrative about who I am and how I see myself. And that's just been an amazing part of my journey towards my why.
If you could speak to the little kid that you were so many years ago, and you thought you needed to fit into this box that others said you needed to be in, what would you tell your former self, knowing where you are now and all the work that you've done to get there?
Well, Shayla, I would say, don't you listen to them. Knuckleheads. No, I would say no. I would say no, that these things aren't true, and hurting people hurt people, and that you are, beautiful and valuable and amazing and who God created you to be. And you go out that door and keep your head up high and keep it pressing, because this world needs who you were created to be, Nicole. So get out there. That's what I would tell her. And I would tell her, I'm sorry that you had to experience these mean things that people might say or imply or feel left out, but have empathy for them, because they too might be just as lost.
Mm-hmm. And Jacob, what would you tell the little kid that you were when you look at where you are now, and the journey you've taken to get to this point?
Yeah, that is there's so much. I don't know how to make it concise, but I really think one of the most important things for me that I would teach myself, and it's what I teach my children, is to build a relationship with God, and that His Spirit lives on the inside of you, and to build that relationship, and all of your other relationships in life will flow out of that. You will have, positive other relationships. It will strengthen you. It will just guide you. So that's the number one thing. And I think I really do try to, I think we both do, we try to live our lives in a way that reflects what we would want to tell our younger selves, and we want to be able to boldly speak that just to others, to each other, and everywhere we go.
And sometimes I think we have to remind ourselves, because life goes so quickly, that where we are is not where we're always going to be. In the grand scheme of things, we're always growing, we're always changing, we're always evolving, and we always have a chance tomorrow to do better than we did today. You just have to keep living and keep giving yourself a chance to show up and share the best of who you are with the world. And hopefully your circle or your friend group, the ones that should be in your life, will find you. Do you feel like when you both came together, you had done all of the work internally to be showing up as what feels like your most authentic selves individually? Or have you kind of had pieces you've kind of done together?
It's a combination, honestly. I don't think that, like, Nicole was presented to me at a point in my life where I had achieved some things that made me able to receive this blessing, which is, to have a wife, and that I think my wife is a gift to me. And so I had to get to a certain point in life, a level of maturity. I had to get to a certain season in my life. And once I got to that season, then I met Nicole, and it's a level up. And then there's a whole nother list of challenges, which, like I said, the best things in life come out of challenge. So there's tremendous blessings of what we're working on now. So it's a combination of both. We met each other, we call each other purpose partners. So when I got to a point, she got to a point where we could really connect, and then now we have a whole nother realm of life to explore together, and a whole nother experience.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
So you really have to be ready to receive the things that you most want. Nicole, would you like to add on to what Jacob said?
Yes, I definitely want to affirm what he said. I feel that, yes, for us to expect to even attract the best things in life or the best partner in life, that we've got to, be willing to do the work within ourselves and to find a sense of, of healing and wholeness within ourselves. And I think there's something to that, because when you've got two wholes coming together and then they become interconnected, and this beautiful thing that happens in them where we cross over is powerful. And I will say that before I met my husband, I was at a point in really just committed to walking in my purpose and my passion, which is our why. Our why equals our passion and our purpose for, what wakes us up in the morning. And I was in the heart of that. I'm like, look, I am dedicated and committed. And I said, the only way that I really would be interested, quite frankly, in walking out in a relationship is if it's divinely connected to purpose. I said, so either a purpose partner or I'm good, And so I would just say that, I think having done some of that allowed me to show up in a way where I'm not looking to Jacob to fulfill certain components that I already, have really dug in and done some of that work. However, I will also say that there is something about the partnership that also, I could almost say, kind of holds up the mirror and causes you to go, oh, there's more growing, and oh, there's more stretching, and oh, there's more healing that we can have. We're learning now, we literally can help each other heal by how we allow each other to be in this space with one another. And that's profound.
Yeah, learning to create a safe space to really be our authentic selves in our marriage and in our relationship. And that's not easy, but it's so valuable. It's so valuable. A space, just to be a safe space, just to be who we are and to be accepted and to be cared for.
And isn't that what I believe we're called to do for others? In the work that you're doing, Jacob, in wellness and helping others to find that space, and the work that I'm doing, it is literally creating space for people to come with all their broken pieces as they are and find an authentic space to honestly celebrate just even where they are, let alone the potential of and to help them see potential, but to help even draw some of the potential that's already in there out. I believe that isn't out of the kind of the overflow of the work we're doing. We're able to then do that and help others to find that. Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, it sounds like from the conversation we're having, to unlock your why, you have to unlock who you are. And sometimes you have to go into those really painful places of your past, work through that space so that it's not just a shut door that you're not opening. Because even shut doors that you're not opening, it's like all this space over here, and it's still like a wall over here that you're saying, I'm not going to go there. But even not going there and not working through it, it still affects how you show up in the world, because there's always this thing that you're just like, I'm not going to go past here. And it still finds a way to meet you, and you still run into things in life that cause you to turn and see it. But eventually, to be your most authentic self, you have to unlock that door, walk through and sift through those painful things so that those painful things don't control you, because they still sort of control you even when you don't deal with them, because you're saying, I'm not going to go there. If you could give any advice, each of you, to someone else that may be trying to figure out, well, what is my why? Where do I start to unlock what that is? What would you want them to know? I would say one of the things that I found myself doing as I walked through my own journey of trying to figure out, well, who am I when I'm not trying to fit myself in all these other boxes and all these other spaces that other people say I should be in? Who am I? What do I personally really like? What do I really not like? I found, okay, I'm a creative deep thinker that loves to laugh and help other people see the best of who they are. I just happen to work in news. It's what I do. It's not who I am. And so now that I have clarity in that, I'm learning that, okay, if I do more of the things that I'm genuinely passionate about, I show up most authentically in the world. And the more authentically I show up in the world, people who should be in my life for the right reasons will gravitate towards me, because I'm showing up as the realest, truest version of myself. So for you all, what do you offer or say to someone else that's trying to figure out where do I start? How do I craft my why?
I'm really inquisitive, so I'd encourage people, be inquisitive on what they want to accomplish, meaning write it down and then ask why, and then give an answer, and then ask why again, and ask why repeatedly 2, 3, even 4 times.
Yes.
And underneath it, you're going to find that emotion. You're going to find that history. You're going to find that true emotional depth that you have and what connects you with that. For example, if you say, well, I'm a personal trainer and gym owner, and well, Jacob, why are you a personal trainer? Well, I really like helping people with their health and their fitness. Why do I like helping people with their health and fitness? Well, it goes back to something that happened for me. I was able to transform my health and my fitness, and it changed my life. It's so much impacted me. It brought me it was part of bringing me from depression to fulfillment, to purpose, to passion. And so there's my emotional depth underneath that, and I could go even further. And then what we will find is when you can really discover that why, you're really going to find tremendous motivation and fuel that's going to fuel you on your journey. So I have this great desire to help people. I have this great desire, and it stems from something so wonderful that was done for me, that the best way I can show my gratitude for it is to try to serve and be part of that for other people. And so I think just asking that question repeatedly, and then really connecting, being inquisitive and understanding it, and then using that as motivation.
Each of us have a very unique makeup of gifts, strengths, and talents that were all designed to serve our why. I would say, similarly, in that you've got to be interested in uncovering those things, interested in going, well, what are those things that I have this, kind of a natural instinct for, or a gift for? What inspires me? What brings me joy? What would I do if they never sent me the paycheck? What is that thing on the inside? And not be afraid to go there, write it down, explore it, and really get in tune, because the thing is, the signs are there. They are there, I believe, even from childhood, the things that have been put in us, like your creativity, probably it's been there since young, but it had to evolve, and you had to like uncover that and find that and then see, oh, wow, this fits in so many other ways that I didn't even realize. And then to give that life. And I think that that's what I would say. I would say, do the deeper dive to understand what is your unique makeup. We have this makeup, this external thing we focus on, but what's happening on your internal makeup? What is going on? What are those gifts? What are those passions? What makes you you? And to really go on a journey to ask that and process that and find out what matters to you in this world.
And I think to some extent, you also have to have the courage to stay on that journey to why, even if the people most immediately around you, sometimes it may be your family, they may not understand your why, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't still seek it out, right?
It is not based on permission. You have to have the courage to really own those things that make up who you are and walk it out regardless of who understands it or who thinks it's the right thing to do. It really is something that takes a lot of courage, because sometimes the closest people to you aren't going to get it. They're not going to quite understand.
And they're not supposed to.
And they're not supposed to, because it's not their journey. It's not theirs.
Their call is not their call, right?
Absolutely. And here's the thing. I've literally, in some of my one-on-one coaching, I have worked with individuals who have literally left a career where they thought they were doing the work that they are called to do. And they went, I am not happy. This is not fulfilling. And, they went on a personal journey to find out what is that thing that really intrinsically makes them find this inner fulfillment. And they shift trajectory within their own careers. It's not necessary to switch a career, but I always share it with individuals. Even if the career isn't the thing that lights your fire inside, make sure you're honoring it outside of the workplace. You have to find a way to honor your whys and the purpose and the things that drive you inside, that are going to create that motivation and excitement and joy in life.
I think our why is directly linked to our calling. And one thing I know is that at some point we will all be chosen in some type of way to use that calling, whether it be to help somebody, whether it be to speak personally to somebody publicly, so I know for myself and my wife as well, like we're determined. We're not gonna miss that opportunity to be chosen, to use what we're called to do what we're called to do. And so getting in touch with that why would really help us get in touch with that calling and that purpose.
Through your fitness journey, you're kind of able to help other Black men who may have gone through those things too, and showing them how they can make different choices in life to live a healthier life and maybe uncover or unlock their why as well, right?
There's been times where it's almost like, I have a gym and it's in a specific place. And there's been times where, just when opportunity presents itself, meaning when somebody reaches out to me, they reach a point in their journey where they're ready to make a change. They're ready to make a shift. And I'm extremely thankful to even have a place when they get to that point, I have a place they can come to. It's a safe space. We can talk, we can really unpack, especially with men and especially with Black men. There is a lot of trauma, and so to discuss some of those things that we think, I should be able to handle my exercise, I should be able to manage hypertension or diabetes, but if we're not doing it well, so to have a safe space where we can really talk about that and to explore it and then to do something about it, to really put some work in and some action steps behind it. I'm like, that's, I don't even know the words to describe how wonderful that feels to me to be able to have that space to meet people when they're ready.
When you activate your why, there's more of you to give to others. And I get to see when he'll come home and he'll go and I'll, talk about your day, and he'll say, this new client, and they reached out, and I get to see the potential, and they're willing to take that step. And I literally can see my husband light up. It is amazing. I believe crafting your why is the most important work you can do. I believe that we all have a calling on our lives, and being able to live a life that our why gets to have a voice and to have expression is what impacts the world to be an amazing space. And so I believe it's the best work you can do, because when you're doing what you love, it blesses you deep in your soul, because you become one. Literally, you become one with who you were created to be and the purpose that you have inside of you, and using all your gifts and talents, and it then overflows into the lives of other people. I say is the most important work, just to do it. Commit to that, no matter what. Commit to crafting your why.
Yeah. Wonderful. And Jacob, would you like to add to that as well?
Any work that we're going to do, there's a reason for it. And so, if we don't understand why we're doing something, we're not going to do it as well if we do. So when it's time to put the work in, whatever that work may be, if it's for our fitness, if it's for our health, if it's for our passion project, really it's a valuable step that you don't want to miss. And you want to take that step and explore it and be inquisitive, and it will just give that much more life and meaning. And
it's even the thing that will give you the courage to push through when it feels scary, or when it feels hard, or when it feels like, I don't know if I could, I've got so far to go. But when we go back and get in tune with why you want it, the why will end up outwinning the what it takes to get there. The why will outwin every time if you've really made a personal, intimate connection with that thing.
So the journey to crafting your why, you have to first find the courage to start. And the best you, the best life, all of your dreams, the things that maybe you most want and they seem out of reach, it's all on the other side of fear. And sometimes it just takes the courage to start, even if it's a small step. Maybe it's making one different choice today than you made yesterday, and celebrating that one step. You don't have to do 5 things at once. You can do one thing at a time and celebrate that maybe you did something that moved you forward that you didn't quite have the courage to try yesterday. And celebrate the small stuff. Because as you craft your why, it's not going to be, as the world we live in now, it feels as though people want everything right now. You want to click on social media and see the answer right away. But this is work that may take years, but just finding the courage to start can really unlock the power of who you truly are. Jacob and Nicole Johnson, thank you both so much for joining me for Let's Chat, Crafting Your Why. Be sure to tune in and check out any other videos in the Let's Chat series, real people, real conversations, talking about real life. You can find more topics like this on Shayla's creative side. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.